is the #1 thing that lifts people out of poverty. So I think there's a balance that needs to be met.
What do you think is the most important or meaningful thing that you know in any of your capacities that the average person doesn't know and doesn't think about?
Well, what really amazes me, and it's really simple, that I don't know anything that you guys probably don't know, but it's just how amazing it is. I know a lot of people going, oh, look how big it is and how insignificant it is, or how insignificant we are. But I think there's something to be said about humanity and having this large brain and being the only animal that's able to understand this all, to be able to ask these questions. So I almost think that the universe is God, as you would, think of something that controls and well, what are the 3 things that they explain that God is omniscient, omnipotent, and omnipresent? So omnipresent, everywhere. It's everywhere. What is the universe? It's everywhere around us because it's encapsulating us. Omniscient is all-knowing. Knowing what knowledge with that information, so containing all information. And omnipotent, all-powerful, so controlling all things. So that's the one thing I remember. I am Armenian, so we are very proud that we were the first state to accept Christianity in 301 AD, and very proud Christians. But I remember going into science, there was a moment where I was questioning everything, and I was like, I understand it, I'm a fan of the ideology, but let me, he's an awesome guy. But I was really looking for something, and there was a moment where I kind of threw it all away, and I started with a blank slate, and I was like, I don't believe in anything. And then slowly researching and doing all these things with theory and all of that, it became really clear to me that whatever we're inside of is very interesting, and it runs like a well-oiled machine. These laws of physics that we have, what are these laws? What are these things? So definitely, if we're inside of it and we have intelligence and it controls our intelligence, I think that it might have greater power for our intelligence that we might not understand in our anthropomorphic way. But yeah, that's something that I've really been excited by, because it really gives you a perspective, and you're humbled to be a part of something so great and so powerful and so beautiful. And when you're very new, you go outside and you're driving and you look at the trees and you look at the sky and you're like, thank you. It's an honor to be here. And to be something and not nothing.
Well, this is, you've given the most perfect Mensa lecture, because you've introduced a new idea I didn't hear of, that the universe itself appears to be a neuron.
Yeah, a lot of scientists are showing how it almost operates like the human brain. So it might just be a good brain, we don't know.
So we may just be part of the brain of some huge entity then, right?
Yeah, I'm sure the cells inside of us, they're, working hard, making that energy, and they're like, what's Elena? Does Elena even exist? so you never know, if you are interested in mathematical theories, there's the Mandelbrot fractal theory, which explains a lot of the universe, the Fibonacci sequence and all of that. So it might be just like that. Like, I don't know if you guys know the Russian matryoshka, where it's small,
The Russian dolls.
Yeah. So we're thinking that might be the pattern that is going on here.
I don't want to let you go, but
I'm here.
so somebody, come on, think of some more questions.
So,
Where does your dualism fit when we talk about our creative force and we create things? Where is the balance? Do you need a balance there on the negative side of the destructive side? Do you understand the question I'm asking? In your theory of everything, where does the creative force fit in, or how do you characterize it within your theory?
So, as Aristotle said, like this idea of the opposites and the median has been around for a very long time. I'm just putting it in mathematical form. The golden mean is what Aristotle says. So it's in between the two extremes. So you can always find the right, and the middle. So once you get, we call it balance, we call it equality, justice, fairness. We call it all of these words, but what it all represents is the middle point between two opposing sides. So just like in morality, it even stretches to morality. Good and evil, right and wrong, right? One, the good is helpfulness, the bad is harmfulness, and right in the middle is fairness. You're not doing anything extra, but you're not taking anything away. So I feel like it really extends to all different aspects of life, from politics to social to science. So it's, whenever you really think about it, it's all just one subject, the universe. So it's all one thing, and whenever one thing, that's why I kind of call it the theory of everything, because it kind of explains everything. Yeah.
I don't think it does.
I respect that.
In your analogy, there is a middle point if you put limitations on both sides, but some of us put our good and bad over here and over here. So where is the center? It depends where the whole thing is at, of what's good and bad.
In moral terms, we're
Yes.
getting into philosophy.
In moral terms, in almost any aspect. The theory, we take positions on the theory, so we know the limitations are good and bad, or some point in being good and bad, but our interpretations of good and bad vary.
Sure, I agree. Some people think one thing is good and one thing is bad, but what we can all kind of agree on, that altruism and helpfulness, complete altruism, complete giving, we all, no matter where you're from, you get it. That's goodness, and then harmfulness, when you kill, you murder, you steal, unfairness, when you take and you don't give. A lot of people accept that as being the extreme, that's the wrong. That's why like my grandmother says, there are no countries without jails. So we all know that murder is wrong, and like saving someone in their time of need, these are kind of universally accepted extremes of what's good and what's bad. Definitely the median point is debatable on what it exactly is, but that's what we're trying to do. We're slowly trying to figure it out, and that's why we have the justice system. That's why we have money. Why do we create money? Because of our need for fairness. Before, we used to trade. If I'm trading you this for that, I don't know. It's in my nature. Is this a fair trade? I don't know. And that's why we created money, because how badly do we want fairness? Down to the penny. We want to make sure that everything is fair. Of course, we want more, but we're okay with fair.
But the position we take now as we get older changes.
Well, you touched on the idea of evil, and the latest thinking I hear about it is psychopathy is the essence of evil, and that's a neuroscience topic. So here again, we come back to the brain, and the universe is a big brain. So it's that would be part of your, all-encompassing universe.
Definitely. We are very interested to see where our ideas, how, evil, how does it, this idea, is it only here, or where, with negativity is something that's very interesting to me to study, in those opposites. of the forms of negativity and what different forms do they take, and positivity as well, protons, electrons, and going on from there. From atoms to us, how do the electrons and the protons and their interactions, how does it manifest in the bigger picture of positivity and the negativity? So that's still something I'm researching. Think we're good?
Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, let's go out to the visitor lounge, everybody, and drink some more wine, maybe?
Well, I'm sorry you
Thank
had
you.
a traumatic drive up there. Hey, that was good.
They don't give you jetpacks up there?
It's through that way to the left. Back this way, I guess. Go after her.
So is she a member or not a member?
No, she's not. She's got to be.
Yeah, tell her maybe take the top.
Yeah, I'll work on her. Yeah.
So, by the way, did you hear back? Did you hear back from
Scott? No.
Yeah.
He may still be in New York. Like, it was like
okay.
8 or 9 days he said he was going to be there.
Oh, okay. Yeah, let me know if you hear back from him. I'm actually heading out of town next week. I'm going back east. Actually, coincidentally, is the camera on? Mm-hmm. Coincidentally, to visit my old college buddy who's the director at NASA Langley. But I'm back the week after that. So if you hear back from Scott, let me know.
Oh, yeah, I'll let you know anything.
Because he's really good. Really interesting. I didn't mean to put her. I feel bad. I mean to put her on spot about supersymmetry. I figured that was part of her thesis. So anyway, all right. Well,
I sure don't know what it is. So.
Oh, well, she can explain it better than me. I mean, I think she's being modest, but it's part of the branch of the theory of everything through theoretical physics, which she does through mathematics. It explains why some things and some forces are the way that they are, and some of the ways that they can't explain could be explained through supersymmetry, which is another level of opposites. That's why I thought when she was going in that direction, like, oh, you must be part of supersymmetry, but she didn't go there. But that's what it is. So it's another dimension of opposites to explain the unification of like classic physical physics and quantum theory. Anyway, let me say goodbye. But anyway, great job. Thanks for. And then, so what's next month? Who's on board?
Victoria Vesna from UCLA. She's an artist.
Oh, okay. And then the Mars guys are coming back, right?
In August.
Oh, good. Okay, very good. Well, it's good seeing you.
Thanks. I'll be in touch with you.
Hey, Lindsay, I want to say thanks a lot. I'm going to hit the road.
Okay. Thanks for being here.
No, my pleasure. I was saying, I've just been feeling better, and I'm just not. I've got an hour to go, so I'll go home. But thank you.
Take care.
See you next month. Next month?
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank
Thanks.
you.
So I went to work for the Navy in computer science, and the Navy helped me get my master's in computer science. Thank you so much, undergraduate.
I will tell you about
That way.
I went to NASA to this flight research center. I didn't know I didn't know anything about fluid mechanics or anything for that. And so as a consequence, I was able to by the time they figured things out, I had taken graduate courses for fluid mechanics for USC. So,
USC. I mean, I'm a Bruin.
well,
You're
they
a
had.
Trojan. Oh
They had remote. They were giving classes up on the base for the engineers. You know what I'm saying? And that's how I got to take those classes. And I didn't realize how famous NASA was. I'm sorry, it was a job. It was really, well, it's interesting because I thought, I got to this degree, and I thought I was going to get an advanced degree in evenings. I had no problem with going to school. And it just turned out that after a few years, I get kicked out of this, I'm reading this NASA report about the Brownian movement on aircraft up in the atmosphere, really high atmosphere, and I'm saying, what's that? What is it? Brownian movement. Right. And I said to him, I'm sorry. I'm not interested in this stuff anymore. And so I went.
I started out as a chemistry major.
Oh, okay.
And after 2 years, I said, this is boring. I don't want to do this.
I would have gone into biology, but it never, ever occurred to me that they would have the analytical approach within my lifetime. You know what I'm saying? When I was in bio, even chemistry, I could not imagine that they would have had the ability to simulate that stuff. So that's why I'm
Yeah, I understand. I do.
But we all chat about this stuff. I maybe send you where I'm at now, because I have also tried to summarize what everything is about. And from my
Life, universe, and everything. 42. You know 42?
Of course I know 42.
You know
Let's see if
42?
he knows 42.
No,
You know
but 42
The
is.
answer to life, the universe, and everything.
Oh, that's right.
I
Isn't
just watched
that what's his name?
Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. Yeah, I just watched the first 4 episodes
I'm waiting
last
for the
night.
elephant to fall on me. The whale. I guess it's a whale.
And in the fifth book, he explains why the petunias said, "Oh no, not again."
Everybody.
I don't remember because that was a lot of years ago.
All I remember is the rat or the mouse.
The mouse. Yes. And they trained humans by, you know,
At least 70 of them. You know, I really have concluded that what gives us whatever in this universe it is, it's our ability to construct directives, our ability to somehow or other construct pathways for us to operate our lives in. It could be with language or whatever, but that's what makes us what we are and how far we could
even
get.
though the mice and the dolphins are more
Oh, they
intelligent.
may be helping. But you know what, I mean, this is,
You realize
pleasure.
that the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy predicted e-books and
And
e-readers,
No, did they?
translator too.
the universal translator.
Well, that's right,
everything.
yeah, okay, yeah, okay.
Now, they did have Star Trek as a model,
I remember
but
reading
Star Trek did not predict e-books and e-readers.
I remember reading science fiction in the 50s, and there I am on this planet, and I walk in this civilization that's not there, and I go up to this little counter over here, and this little thing is there, and all of a sudden it pops up and explains to me everything that happened before, including encyclopedias. Remember that? You never got to see that science fiction time. No. I mean, blackness over here, a blue flag. I'm serious. Science fiction had these disappearing civilizations. You walk into their whatever, and they had this little light that came on, and they never, just the way we have right now. We're heading in that direction.
I've just been reading a whole book of short stories by Isaac Asimov.
Ah, okay.
And I just read one that had a detailed explanation of what it feels to be in weightlessness that is just amazing. The book is called, what's his most famous short story?
scientists are there.
Foundations.
What?
That's not a
I thought she was going to say.
It's his most famous short story. It's
I haven't read it.
Nightfall.
Okay.
The book is called Nightfall, and it's got about 13 stories in it. And it's just amazing because his just unconscious understanding of elements of science that are way beyond words. And one thing he talked about astrology, not in this book, but he talks about astrology, and he said, of course, I don't know anything about science, but it seems to be the gravitational, oh yeah, I get it. The gravitational pull of the observation exceeds that of any star or planet.
That's
There's
hilarious.
a pattern here. This
Have you heard of the Culture series? The Culture series?
I don't know what that is.
So, I didn't hear about it until I knew about it. The reason I heard about it is because SpaceX, because their ship, their barge, right, is landing on. They gave it these like outrageous names, right? And one of them is it's like, yes, I still love you, or I can't remember what it is. It's something like that, okay? It's like it's a very ironic name, okay? And so Musk is getting these names from this series, this sci-fi series called the Culture series, and it's about this. I've only gotten like first maybe an hour into the first audio book. Okay, so I'm not too far into it. And this thing is gigantic. It's like Asimovian, big type of series, right? But they have like these different civilizations, and the civilizations, they have like these very outrageous, ironic names that go along with their ships, right?
Is this a recent book? Or?
So this guy died the writer died in like I think the late 90s, and this Culture series is from and I think he's British too. And the Culture series I think was started writing maybe in the late 70s or 80s, and kind of continued into like the 2000s, I think. Okay, and it's like I said, it's a huge series. But I was curious if you had ever read it, and if you had a chance to compare it to Douglas Adams, right? Well, I learned a lot, and I've always tried to find writers like him, like that write that kind of take sci-fi and write about it ironically. And have really good sense of humor when they're writing about it. I've never quite been able to. That's fantastic.
He's
Douglas Adams.
pretty amazing.
Totally. So this.
And in the fourth and fifth books, he ties up a lot of loose ends that were in the first three books.
Yeah,
It's
talking
pretty
about.
amazing.
I said, who are we talking about?
Douglas Adams right now, but Asimov wrote like
Adams, I'm not sure what I read.
Hitchhiker's Guide. Yeah.
Oh, is he?
Yeah.
It's okay. It's been a while.
You introduced me to this. I have, before you go, way back before you go,
You talk about me in front of my back.
We'll do that.
This is a cute existential story of this guy just went to this university. I went to this professor's course, philosophically, professor's course.
Oh, yeah.
Of the course, the professor gave him a test, and it was a one-word test.